Okay. I am joined by Siim Karu, Chief Revenue Officer with O&A Hostels, coming to us from Berlin, Germany. How are you, sir?
I'm good, thanks. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be part of the show in these times. Yeah?
Yes. So tell us a little bit about what you've been going through lately, past few months.
Well, I guess it's quite similar to everyone in the industry. So same at A&o. I mean, we got a good start to the year. We were on track to have basically the best year ever, and then in the end of February, the whole thing hit us, and we've never seen such an amount of cancellations. Even we couldn't ever imagine that the amount of cancellations in a single day. So obviously, operationally, a massive challenge to get rid of the backlog and get back to all customers and have a really clear picture of kind of what's do we have any guests checking in, or is it still reservations that we haven't had time to cancel yet. So it was first chaos, but then obviously it settled down a bit, and we were able to make a plan and understood how big this is. Then we sat down with the management team, made a plan how we're going to go through this and what's the best way to first survive and then recover. And it was going relatively well, considering all things, until we hit the second wave of lockdown now, just a week ago.
Yeah, and you guys are going to be locked down for 3-4 weeks at least?
Yeah, well, they've announced it's going to be the 4 week lockdown now, and they call it kind of the light version of the lockdown for the business. I mean, in the hospitality business, it's a full lockdown. I mean, all touristic stays are banned. So across Germany, across Europe, there's literally zero movement. There's some people have to travel for work, but we're looking at single digit occupancies in all markets. So it's quite tough, and then we do expect this lockdown will not be lifted. I mean, the restrictions won't be lifted in 4 weeks. We expect this to continue into December, potentially all the way to January.
Yeah. Quickly tell us a little bit about O&A, your properties, locations.
It's A&o. I have to correct you.
Oh, O&A.
That's
Sorry.
So I mean, we operate over 8,000 rooms across Europe now. I think we're in 23, 24 different cities across Europe. We're officially in the hostel sector. We're the largest player in the hostel sector with about 28,500 beds now open. So we've been around for a while, and then over the last 20 years, the concept, it started as a hostel company. Now we have evolved to something between a hotel and a hostel. So we have hotel rooms across the board. We have some properties which are just hotels, and then at the same time, we still operate a fair amount of kind of the shared beds in dormitories, or individual beds in shared rooms. We don't share beds necessarily. There is a big focus on the group business, obviously, student travel, school travel, sports groups, and that's a big missing piece for us right now. And it's primarily younger customers in their youth or kind of university age.
So how have you and your team kind of changed the way you do things with regards to revenue management?
Well, the positive side of the pandemic for us, I mean, if you can call it positive, but from one side, it accelerated quite a few processes that we had planned for this and next year. So with the pandemic, and obviously almost diminishing revenues for this year, we pushed ahead with our project to automate revenue management completely. So we are now fully automated, just using technology and a small team of. So we have 2 data analysts. It's myself and one assistant inventory manager, and that's about it. So we have a team of 4 people, including myself, looking after the whole portfolio. So the price decisions and the pricing is fully automated, just using technology, and we're just focusing on basically controlling it, looking at the big picture, and using data science to keep an eye on the whole portfolio. So that's been an interesting development, definitely moving from the manual revenue management to fully automated revenue management in basically 6 months' time.
Yeah, that is interesting because some people are maybe backing off automation a little bit. So, I mean, how is the combination of, the human touch and automating, given the circumstances?
Yeah, so obviously there was a bit of a challenge once the pandemic really took the kind of the once the European travel market took the full hit of the pandemic, then the system obviously runs some sort of a forecast in the background that usually you have a projected booking curve, and none of that was valid anymore. So there was a bit of a kind of argument, so to say, with the system, where we had to just feed the system some information manually, letting it know that it's going to change. But we were actually quite impressed how quickly the system was able to learn that this is the new pattern now. So once the summer season started again and they lifted the restrictions, we saw that the system was actually quite fast reacting to the new business again. Once we had a crazy short booking window in the summer where suddenly people, they were allowed to travel again, and we had some houses even full, and it went like basically within 48 hours before arrival, it was from 10% to 90%. So it was actually great to see that the system was able to pick it up quite quickly and move the prices along with the demand. So we were sort of able to make the best of this short summer season we had.
Yeah, that's good. So in our time remaining, any advice for the hoteliers out there continuing to go through this?
I can just recommend to take the time to I'm not gonna say what everybody's saying. Think about your segmentation or channel mix now. I mean, honestly, this is the time to think about liquidity and survival. But if any time is left over, and if there is if you can allocate any resource to long-term development, then think about what you can do with technology. There are, depending which country you're in, there are some basically support funds available to digitalize the business. So we are also now focusing on basically thinking about, okay, what's going to be the next 1-2 years? How can we make us less dependent on those kind of events in the world, where basically you obviously we cannot save the revenues if there is a full lockdown, but what we can do is we can really look at the cost base, and we can see if there is anything we need to change in our technology in the back end, and make certain investments there.
All right, that's some good advice. Digital research and adoption. Thank you, Siim, for joining me.
Thanks for having me. Cheers.
You bet.